Hey everyone, Boylon here, and hope you're all having an awesome day. Today I kind of wanted to do something a bit fun, and something I've been thinking about for some reason, and that's team-up attacks. Unfortunately, we actually don't have too many of these, but I wanted to do a bit of a ranking of the ones that I think are the best. Now, best can be a bit subjective, but in this case, I'll be ranking them in usefulness and how often I use them in the game right now. Something I definitely wish we had more of, though, and if any of the devs are listening out there, let's get some more of these. But without further ado, let's get into it. And for number 6, we have the Cap and Iron Man team up. So this is the blast refraction that you guys often see if you're watching maybe YouTube and you come up with the Marvel Strike Force adverts that they show on the trailer there. And so this actually stems from Iron Man's special Rocket Barrage. So when you click on this, it actually says attack all enemies for 190%. So this is the Iron Man version, and then with Cap, it does an increase of 30% damage. So it's not a huge upgrade. This is a very classic MSF. You know, this was in from the beginning, so it's not a super powerful attack. It's just a little bit of extra flair with Cap and Iron Man. Now, unfortunately, as you guys know, Iron Man is with the Power Armor team, so this isn't seeing a lot of use right now, and that's why we're kind of at the bottom of the list here at number 6. And that's probably where it's going to stay unless they do some Avengers rework. But I don't... People have talked about that, but I just really don't know if that's going to happen or not, because so many of the old Avengers are now on new teams, and that would really separate them now. So I don't see that happening, and I kind of think this is going to stay where it is. But hey, it was, I think, one of the first ones to come out in the game, and that's probably where it's going to stay. And coming in at number 5, we have the Vision and Scarlet Witch team up. Yes, this is the solar beam here. Unfortunately, it actually isn't that bad, or maybe fortunately it's not that bad. But because Scarlet Witch is in the Supernatural team, and well, Vision was on the Power Armor team and now is kind of homeless, it doesn't really get used as much as it I don't even know if it was really used all that much. I used it a handful of times, but I think this was well before the Supernatural team and things like that, so there was maybe some reason to use them together, and some sort of maybe quasi-Avengers team you could have used them in. But it's actually not too bad. It does actually, the bleed is okay, maybe not amazing, but you know, it is extra, and Vision was a very powerful character at the time. So unfortunately this doesn't get used now, but being on Vision, he is a very strong character, but he's never really going to be seen combined with Scarlet Witch unless something monumental changes in the future with those two characters, which is a little bit unfortunate, but it is what it is, and this is why it has hit the number 5 on the list. Now we're getting to number 4 on the list, and this is going to Deadpool and Cable, or rather Cable and Deadpool, because it is Cable's attack. Psychic Surge here, Cable's ultimate, so this is the one with the team-up attack. It actually does decent damage, and it's unavoidable, and on kill you get 70% speed bar for both of them. Now, it's a pretty strong attack. The reason why it's number 4 is because you're largely going to be using Cable and Deadpool together, so that's up from the other two, who normally you don't see them being worked together. So at least these two are always going to be on the same team, and the team-up attack is always going to happen. Now, it's Deadpool and Cable themselves as characters aren't as strong as the other 3 who are going to be on the list above this, and it is, you know, it's not terrible. If you can manage to get that kill, the killing blow, you do get the 70% speed bar, but you have to make sure that either one or both of them are strong enough that the damage is actually going to kill them. But I like it at number 4 because they're always going to be paired up together, and you're going to see it used a little bit, maybe a little bit more now that X-Force is a thing, but that's where it lands at number 4. Now we're getting to the top half of the rankings, and this is actually one of the newest ones to be added to the game, and that is the Toad and Blob team up. So this actually stems from Toad's Ultimate Leapfrog, and now this actually is a fair bit better than what the previous team ups were. So it originally does 210% damage, clears positive effects and all that, and chains around. Now what's great about that is that if you scroll down, if Blob is an ally, attack primary target and secondary targets for 260%, so that's an increase of 50% damage, and this attack cannot be dodged or counterattacked. So any of those pesky, dodge characters or anything like that, anyone with counterattack, not going to work. So he just hops all the way around, chaining all of those times, and that is really good. And now that we're seeing Brotherhood 2.0 and both Toad and Blob are farmable, this one hits my number 3 because of how often I'm using this now. I'm mostly using it in Blitz and War, but I do really like Toad and Blob as characters. I think the animation looks cool. I actually like Toad and Blob quite a bit. So this is why it's hitting my number 3 on the list, and that's Toad and Blob. And now we're at number 2, and I actually kind of struggled between this one and the previous Toad and Blob, only because it's Wolverine. Now, this is the team up with Wolverine and Colossus, the famous fastball special, and that comes from his ultimate as well, the Primal Berserker. Now, the only reason why I was unsure about whether or not to put this as number 2 is because I think that Wolverine is one of the weaker characters on the X-Men team, and I kind of have a strange feeling that in the future, in the near future, he's going to be replaced out of that team. Now, and some people say he already is with the release of Beast, and the issue that this presents, of course, is that Colossus is so strong. Colossus is largely always going to stay with Phoenix, probably, and I don't see Wolverine, rather I do see Wolverine being separated from Colossus in the future if he hasn't already. Now, this is a not too bad of an attack. It goes from 610% piercing to 710%, so that's an increase of 100%. And if you actually, for those who do play outside of the 3 times animation, it doesn't look too bad either. It's kind of cool. It's very iconic from a mutant X-Men perspective, and he does this quite often. And even in the more recent comics, the fastball special is mentioned quite a bit, rather, in some of the newer comics in Marvel right now as well. So that's kind of cool. Bit of a nod to that. Otherwise, it doesn't actually gain anything else. It's just 100% damage, which isn't too bad. And it's used quite frequently if you're using Wolverine in that X-Men team. So number 2 for it's mainly for how often you're probably going to be using it compared to some of the others. Now, I did want to give a quick honorable mention to my pal Thanos, because while it's not a proper team-up attack, it is something that is sort of new. The fact that they've had to use all 4 of the other Black Order members to give Thanos the Infinity Stones in order for him to transform with the Infinity Gauntlet into Empowered Thanos, as we'll see here, which gives him a brand new set of abilities. Now, I think this is quite interesting. Like I said, not a team-up attack, but a team-up of sorts. So maybe they might be going through a new way of doing team-ups, and this gives them a whole brand new kit. I'm not going to go over Empowered Thanos here. I'm sure you guys know lots about him, but I just wanted to give a bit of a nod to this here because I think it's quite interesting, and wonder if we'll see things like this in the future where it's more than one other character for some sort of team-up related thing. And finally, we're at the #1 spot, and I did have to give it to my pals Rocket, Raccoon, and Groot. Now, the reason why this is hitting #1 for me is because out of all of the team-up attacks, I have used this the most. Rocket and Groot has been a staple for, my gameplay for not so much anymore, but it was my staple for a lot of the game, especially raids in Ultima 6 and any of the other raids that I could use them in. They were a great team-up, and even now they're still really good characters, pairing them up together, and it does quite a bit of extra damage. So I would say for an AoE that it is on such a low cooldown, this ultimate is really powerful. So 360% damage with Groot doesn't sound like a lot, an extra 60%, but given the fact that it's an AoE attack on a 4 ability cooldown, such a great move, and this is why it deserves the #1 spot. And Rocket and Raccoon and Groot, those are great characters, even worth investing to this day now. So that's why they hit the top spot. And I think that's all of them. Like I said in the intro, there actually aren't too many proper team-up attacks in the game, which is a bit unfortunate since it adds a bit of flair to the game and the characters that they're often paired up with. Are there any team-ups that you think should be in the game? If so, leave that in the comments section below. I know a fan favorite that people were talking about for some time is the Loki and Thor get help scene out of Thor Ragnarok. But anyways, I hope maybe in the future they'll bring out some more of these since they can be kind of cool. That's all for me for today though, and if you guys enjoyed my video, then please smash that like button down below, and if you haven't already, then please consider subscribing to my channel. And of course, until next time, stay safe everyone. Boylan signing out.